Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching this fabulous training around the world. I am Bowden. Welcome to How to Collect the Cash and Keep Your Business Profitable by learning how to track your payments. Some fun facts about me. So as I said, I'm Bowden. I'm a person of faith. I'm a person that loves sports. I'm originally from Boston, now living in the great state of Maryland. So I'm all about sports. I'm about the New England Patriots, the Boston Red Sox, the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Bruins. I absolutely love Ferris wheels. So don't know if you're a Ferris wheel person, but that's one of my things that's a fun fact about me. I absolutely love wine, both red and white. And then self-care is something that's really important as you are a business owner. And one of the things I love doing is spending time with several of my friends. And one of the cool things we got to do last year is we actually got to go see Oprah live in Dallas, Texas. So fun facts about me again: sports, person of faith, love Ferris wheels, love red and white wine, and love spending time with my friends and getting refreshed and renewed. So I'm the founder of a company called BCS Solutions, and since 2015 we have worked with our clients to help recover $13 million in unpaid revenue. So that's companies such as corporations, government contracts, government contractors, government agencies, small and medium-sized businesses. And we've taught them our system, which is 3 keys to collect the cash, which is problem solving, customer service, and gratitude. I've also been recognized by VIP Global Magazine as one of the top 50 most influential women in business in 2021. I'd like to introduce you to my What Had Happened Was crew. In business, we all have our crews. We have our people that help us and assist us to make our businesses and our lives better. My crew is called the What Had Happened Was crew, and the first person I'm going to introduce you to is Questions. They want to ask you some questions about your business so you can learn how to manage your cash flow and your tracking systems better by answering these questions. Have you ever sold a product or a service and not been paid? If that happened to you, how did that make you feel? Number 2, have you ever had customers that were late paying you? How did that make you feel? And then, have you ever been ghosted? That means that you did a product, you provided a product, you did a service, and then the people just disappeared off the face of the earth. You have no idea where they are, and they haven't returned your calls, haven't returned your emails, and they act as if you just don't exist. If this has ever happened to you, it's a very uncomfortable and actually a very upsetting feeling, and it's something that nobody wants. And so when you learn to do this, you have to make sure the sale is complete and the money's in the bank, but you must collect first. But you have to know how many products you sold, how much you provided in service. You have to know if you have customers that are late paying you or are habitually late paying you. And if you've been ghosted once, ever, you gotta do a course correction and make sure you don't let that happen to you again. So my What Had Happened Was crew is going to teach you the 3 keys to collect the cash. The 3 keys are problem solving, customer service, and gratitude. Problem solving: the ability to define and determine the problem and work to get it fixed as quickly as possible. Customer service is the ability to help and provide advice when needed by a company to the people who buy the products or the service. And the last thing is gratitude. It's the ability to be thankful, readiness to show appreciation for assistance provided to solve a problem, an issue, or a concern. So one of the things I'd like to teach you today is about proper invoicing. What drove me to create the 3 keys to collect the cash was this. About 15 years ago, I used to work for a small IT company outside of Boston, where I'm from. You know how it is when you get hired for the company. They tell you, welcome aboard, here's your cubicle, here's your box, and here's your plan. Well, in my case, they said, welcome aboard, D, and here's $8 million in outstanding invoices that have not been paid, and we need you to do what you do best, which is collect the cash and keep our business profitable by using your tracking system. So I said, okay, I'm a person of faith. So I basically went to God and we had a conversation that kind of went like this. Hey, God. Yes, D. How are you? Overall, God, I'm fantastic, but I got this $8 million problem and I need a clue on what I need to do in order to collect the cash. So when I got quiet, the three keys that were revealed were that in order to collect the cash, business to business, business to government, are problem solving, asking these questions, customer service, following up to make sure that all the things were addressed, and expressing gratitude. So this is my first member of my crew, the What Had Happened Was crew, and we're going to talk some more about problem solving. When you're in business, there are times when things just don't go well. It's hard because you have planned, plotted, done whiteboards, done all the things, done all the strategy sessions to make sure that everything worked well. And you look up and you're like, okay, so what happened? Why haven't we gotten paid? Like, you gave us the contract, we agreed upon the terms, we've submitted everything, we don't know why we haven't gotten paid. Well, when you're in business, you have to get really comfortable with problem solving, which means you have to get really good with asking questions. You have to get really good with figuring out what was the breakdown, what was the disconnect, what's the thing that went left that stops your client from paying you. So here's the things. If there are no invoices submitted, there is no money coming into your business. You also absolutely have to know what is their process. How do they process invoices? And if you don't like doing that, then you have to find somebody who's better at it and have them teach them how to do this so that you can continue the relationship, provide the product and services, and get paid. The other thing is that you absolutely have to learn to follow the instructions. Can't stress this enough. Following the instructions is so very important because a lot of times payments get missed because people don't do what was required. They don't submit a proper invoice, which means it has the contract number, your company's name and information, banking information, the name of your customer, the products that were bought, how much it costs, what's the total amount that's due, and then where did they send the check? All of those things, you have to follow the instructions on the invoice. And here's the other main key for this section. The fortune is always in the follow-up. That includes problem solving, asking questions, submitting proper invoices, doing all the things that are necessary in order to get paid. My next person that's part of the What Had Happened Was crew is going to ask you about or talk to you about customer service. When you're in business, customer service is one of those things that matters. All of us have had great customer service, and all of us know when it really has not gone well. I believe as a part of collecting the cash and keeping your business profitable and setting up a proper tracking system that you need to provide excellent customer service. So, for example, you've ordered 10 sets of sneakers. You've only gotten 8. The first thing that's going to happen is, the question is going to be, so what had happened was, why didn't I get my 10 sets of sneakers? I ordered 10 and I paid for them. I only got 8. You're going to get on the phone and you want to know, you're going to want to talk to somebody in customer service and ask them, okay, so my name is whatever your name is, my account number is this, and I want to confirm that you saw the order, it was placed, and so what happened? And you're expecting them to start going down the steps to figure out what was the breakdown, and they'll tell you, yes, we see that you placed the order for 10 sneakers. It looks like there was a shortage. They forgot to make a note in the system that you're missing 2 sneakers, and that the plan is that as soon as the sneakers that are on back order come in, we will send you your extra set of sneakers. So that's part of customer service. It's paying attention to the details. It's following up on receipts of invoices or merchandise or products. It's updating your records. I'm sure when you have called into a company, they usually go through this something like this. Hi, my name is, and they ask you what is your name, your date of birth, your address. Sometimes it might be your mother's maiden name, your email address, because what are they doing? They're updating their records to make sure that they have the most current information concerning you before they can actually start to listen to your story about what had happened was with the product, the service, whatever went left. Before they can fix that, they have to make sure their records are straight, because in case there was something that was missed the last time you called in, they want to fix it so it doesn't keep repeating itself. You also want to confirm receipt of payment, and you absolutely need to verify all details. My next member of the What Had Happened Was crew, we're going to talk to you about gratitude. Gratitude is one of those things that you might be thinking, what does that have to do with tracking my payments? Well, it's an indirect one of those things. So here's the thing. When I was working for that company and that client that had $8 million in outstanding invoices, I had to do these 3 things. We had to do problem solving. I had to get on the phone and ask, what happened with these invoices? Why haven't they processed them for payment? So one of the things I found out was when I called one of the customers, they said, oh, we changed our billing system. Oh, you did? Which is part of proper invoicing. Oh, Didn't know you had done that. When did you do this? Oh, we sent out an email to all of our vendors a while ago. Well, unfortunately, my client, my company did not get that, so we didn't know that you had made a change. So we were submitting invoices incorrectly, consistently, and wondering why we weren't getting paid. So one of the things that I learned during that process was to express gratitude for them taking my phone call and them telling me something that was very crucial that we didn't know. We didn't know they had changed billing system. It would be like going from using Excel to using, say, QuickBooks. Didn't know that. So we've been preparing the invoices in the wrong system, and when we were submitting them, they weren't being accepted because they had changed their systems, but no one bothered to confirm that with us. So me taking the initiative to find out, to make the phone call, to ask the questions, to dig deeper, to peel back the onions. All of that was gratitude, because here's the thing. When I got the person on the phone who explained to me what had happened, which was that there was a change in the billing system, that our invoices had been rejected, that they were sitting basically in a suspense account, and then we're talking upwards of $2 million that had been sitting uncollected because of this small mistake. And when I got that information, I asked, first of all, I thanked them for taking my call. I thanked them for confirming that all of our invoices were in the system, and that once we reformatted them into the new billing system, that we would get paid. And I thanked them for letting me know that once we did this, which would be, which would have been in the following week, we would be getting paid. The checks would be getting cut. And that part of gratitude was so important, because that was the beginning of the relationship that helped me recover $6 million in 60 days for one of my clients. So far we've been talking, what had happened was crew has been talking to you about problem solving, customer service, gratitude. Now, as you're sitting here listening to this story, you might be thinking, okay, what does this have to do with business? Well, you're in the relationship business. Regardless of what product or service that you sell, you're always in relationship. You are building rapport with people. You are looking for them to listen to your story, take an interest in your product, and take an interest in your service. You have to build the relationships with them so that they will spend their money with you, and then you can learn how to problem solve when things don't go well, or you can so you can problem solve, number one. Number two, you can provide excellent customer service, and then number three, you can absolutely express gratitude. Because when you thank your customers for doing business with you, realizing that they have a choice where they spend their dollars, that's a very important thing, and it really does matter. Now, back to the what had happened was crew. Now we're going to introduce you to, in terms of this training about systems, we're going to teach you about the tracking system. In business, you have to track everything that gets measured. Everything that gets tracked gets measured. In your business, you may or may not have what's called a tracking system. It's basically a system that looks like this. What's the name of your customer? What is the contract number? What is the amount of the contract? What's the item that is being sold? When are you supposed to invoice them? When are you supposed to get paid? And then a section called notes. You want to basically have a financial picture of how many sales do you have, or how many sales are you projecting that you will have, because you may not have any sales right now. But if you do have sales, how many do you have? Which is basically how many customers do you have? How much money are you expecting in the month? You need to be able to track that. How much money is owed? Because you can have the sale, but get this, the sale is not complete until the money's in the bank, but you must collect it first. Let me say it again. The sale is not complete until the money is actually in the bank, but you must collect it first. How do you know how much money you need to collect if you don't track it, if you don't have a picture, if you don't have anything laid out so you can see, all right, I have this sale from this customer for this amount of money, and I invoice them and the payment is due here. What do you do when you don't track things? That means things are in chaos. And one of the reasons why this matters is that, number one, in order for you to manage your money well and to collect the cash and keep your business profitable and have a great tracking system, you have to do some of the tedious work. Some of the tedious work is setting up the columns on, let's say, in Excel. So column number one, name of the customer. Column number two, customer contract number. Column number three, amount of the contract. How much did they buy? What's the amount of the contract? Number four, the item that's sold. What did they buy? Sneakers. It doesn't matter. What are they buying from you? The quantity. Number five, when are you supposed to invoice them? It means submit the bill to them to get paid for the product or services that you provided. And then when are they supposed to pay you? And then notes. Notes is if something went wrong. Let's say they bought 10 sets of sneakers from you and you only provided 8. The note is that as soon as you get the back order, you need to square it up with them and make things right. Notes are the things that you don't want to forget concerning that customer, because every customer is different. Your tracking system allows you to basically see what's going on in your business. I'll give you another example. All of you that are listening today have a cell phone, and here's how your phone is tracked. It starts off with this: welcome to the store, welcome to whatever phone store it is. They're going to start off with beginning the conversation around sales. They're going to get your driver's license and confirm that you are who you say you are, and then the sales process is about to start. They're already tracking you because they want to see what kind of phone you have and are you eligible for an upgrade. So they're already tracking you. That's step number one. Number two, they're going to confirm what phone you have, and then they're going to tell you that you're eligible for an upgrade. And next thing you know, you're like, I didn't think about getting a new phone, but you know what? I think I do want a new phone, and now I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna upgrade my phone. And if you owe a balance, you're gonna pay off the balance on the old phone and then get your new phone. So we went from a sale to a contract. Next thing you know, this order fulfillment. Before you even move forward, they're gonna take the box that your phone is housed in. They're gonna scan the barcode, and it gets entered into the system. They're tracking the product. They want to know that this phone, whatever it is, whatever kind it is assigned to you, and it's already the information is being populated in the system. It's already being tracked. So this the sale, there's a contract, there's order entry, this order fulfillment. They're already saying that this phone was bought by this customer. So that's order fulfillment. Then they're going to ask you, when would you like to get your invoice? When do you want your bill due? And you're going to tell them date of whatever. So you give them the date, that information is put into the system, that information is being tracked. So they know how many invoices are going to be sent out and how many bills are due on that particular day. They do that for every customer. It gets tracked. Okay, I have 500 customers whose bills are due on the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, whether it's a 30-day month or a 31-day month. Those get tracked. So you have sales being tracked, contracts being tracked, order entry being tracked, order fulfillment being tracked, invoicing, billing, and then the last part is receivables, payments, collections. That gets tracked, because if you say your bill is due on this date and it doesn't come in, you're going to get a notice immediately, if not that same day, the next day, you missed your payment. They're tracking you because you have entered into a contractual agreement with your phone to say that you bought the phone, you agreed to the terms, and you're going to pay them. And they're tracking that, and they will continue to track it. And if it really gets really, really bad, they have this magical button that will disconnect your service. And we're not trying to do that. But the point is, that's what a tracking system looks like. It tracks everything that happens with your product or with your service. I use the cell phone so that everybody who has a phone can see that, and then you can take your product or your service and put it into the same process of what are the things that I need to track, so I know what gets tracked gets measured. The point that you need to walk away with from today is this: you have to begin with a system. And the second thing is that you begin with good habits early in business, because when you set things up correctly the first time, it just makes it easier for you to manage business, inventory, products, services, and most important, payments. So in summary, we've talked about how to collect the cash and keep your business profitable by using a tracking system. We've talked about the importance of with your tracking system to do problem solving. You have to set up all the columns in the tracker to know the name of your customer, contract number, contract amount, product sold, invoice date, invoice amount, notes. So that's problem solving. And if there's any problem along that journey, you have a clear picture of where did something break down, so you can address it, you can fix it. The second thing we talked about concerning your tracking system is customer service. When you know that something didn't go right, now that you have your tracker, you can say in my notes, okay, yes, I need to follow up with this customer and address this issue. Apologize if you made a mistake, make it right. Customer service goes above and beyond what's expected to maintain good relationships internally and externally. We talked about gratitude. Gratitude with your tracker is that once you learn to implement this system, you'll get to see that this matters, because when you track what gets measured, what gets tracked gets measured. And when you start to see this as a tool that benefits you and your business, you will appreciate that. You'll be thankful because, okay, I now know, I know the state of all of my accounts. I know what's going on. I know where I have problems. I know where I have gaps, and my tracker shows me the financial overview of my business and how many sales I do have or how many sales I'm projecting, and then what do I need to do to make sure I'm closing those sales and I'm making them go from prospects to customers, and then how do I put them into my system so that I'm tracking them and we're providing excellent customer service. The other thing we talked about in terms of your tracker was proper invoicing. I can't stress this enough. Proper invoicing is everything. That's making sure that you have in your system that your invoice is set up correctly in the system, that you've got the name of your company, all the information that's pertinent to it. You have the name of your vendor and all the information that's pertinent to them. You have the amount of products or services that you've sold to them. You have your banking information. How are they supposed to pay you? Are they paying you via check? Are they paying you ACH or EFT, electronic funds transfer? How are they paying you? You have to track all those things, and your invoicing being set up properly so that you can submit it and you can get paid properly is important. And then you can track it. You know, I submitted my invoice on this date. It's scheduled for payment within 7 days, and if I haven't gotten the payment, then I know I need to be getting on the phone and finding out what had happened was. And then the last thing we talked about was the tracking system. The tracking system, again, is a simplistic system that shows you the name of your customer, the contract number, the contract amount, the items that are sold, the invoice date, when did you submit the invoice to your customer, when are you supposed to get paid, and you have notes, because you want to always know how many sales you have per month, and then eventually you're going to get through the quarter, so you can know, okay, I have these many sales for this month, and then you can plan to project how much money are you making in the month, and then basically in the next 90 days. And your tracking system shows you this, and it shows you, again, if you fill it in properly, what's missing, and then what do you need to add. So I just gave you a few things. You might look up and say, okay, D, this is great, but I need more things. Well, if you do it in Excel, you can always add more columns. The goal is for you just to get comfortable with the fact that tracking your payments, tracking your customers is an essential part of business. Like I said earlier, what gets measured, what gets tracked gets measured, because if you aren't measuring things, if you aren't tracking things, if you aren't doing reviews, how do you know what needs to be improved? You don't, but the tracking system allows you to see that. In addition to listening to me today talk about how to collect the cash and keep your business profitable by using a tracking system, I actually have an additional free gift. There are 5 additional steps that you can learn on how to collect the cash, and you're able to get this for free at bit.ly, bit.ly/collect the cash 5 steps. Let me say it one more time. It's bit.ly/collect the cash 5 steps. There's also a QR code that's actually on the screen that you can actually scan that and then download the document. Now, if that's not enough, there's also this phenomenal book called Collect the Cash. The sale is not complete until the money is actually in the bank. And in the book, we go into further explanations about the tracking system. Again, the book is called Collect the Cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank. You can order your book today at www.collectthecash.biz/book. That's www.collectthecash.biz/book. Love to stay in touch. If you have any questions about the tracking system, once you go through it, please feel free to email me at info@collectthecash.biz. That's info@collectthecash.biz. I'm definitely on LinkedIn. I'm definitely on Facebook. I love being social. I love making new connections, and I love helping people do well in business. Again, let's stay in touch. info@collectthecash.biz. Also find me on LinkedIn and on Facebook. I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to present how to collect the cash, keep your business profitable by using a tracking system. As always, cheers.